9 time now.
Yes, figures out later this morning expected to show the first signs the cost of living is officially increasing. Victoria has details for us. Morning again.
Good morning to you. Yes, of course, the big question is how much higher can inflation go? And will anyone gain from all of this, or are we all set to lose out? As Lou was saying, official figures showing the current cost of living are out a little bit later on, about 9:30. And they're important because they're used by the people at the Bank of England to work out where to set interest rates. Now, economists, they work out inflation by looking at a pretend shopping basket. And in it, they put hundreds of things that we typically spend our money on. Things like going to the cinema, having a pint in our local, going on holiday and buying everything from bread to bicycles. Now, the price of all those things are going to be influenced by a whole range of different factors, but one of them, and certainly the most influential over the last few months, is the exchange rate. Now, since the vote to leave the EU, the pound, well, it's fallen nearly 19% against the euro and slightly more against the dollar. And what all that means is that the price of raw materials that we need to buy in from overseas has gone up. Now, in July, these so-called input prices rose by nearly 8%. That was the fastest rise in nearly 5 years. And this price pressure came to the surface last week. Do you remember Marmite Gate? Well, that was caused by the big supplier of the brands that we buy, Unilever, telling Britain's biggest supermarket, Tesco, that it wanted to raise the prices it was charging them to compensate for the steep drop in the value of the pound. Now, for now, that dispute seems to have been resolved, but most experts think that rising prices will soon have to be passed on to consumers. One of the big forecasting groups think that this could actually push inflation up by nearly 3% next year, and that is well over the target set by the Bank of England.
We've had a long period of actually low inflation, very low inflation, and they're starting to go up. I mean, the principal reason will be the movement in the currency. That will flow through to the prices on the high street relatively quickly. We're going to get inflation back to target. We're going to keep it there, but again, in a way that supports the economy as much as we can.
Now, it's not going to be just policymakers like the Governor Mark Carney keeping a close eye on inflation. Households should be doing so as well, because most of us will lose out if and when inflation creeps higher. But that's not true for everyone. So in about an hour's time, I'm going to be taking a closer look at what higher inflation means for your pocket.
Victoria, thank you. We'll see you in an hour or so. Thank you.